Show you how to create a simple program using loop. Here we are going to use the while loop. Now let's go ahead and see a simple program. So first of all, I'm gonna if you watch my previous video, you know what while loop does. While loop is basically like if statement. If you studied if statement, you know that if statement checks a test inside of this parenthesis, and if the test is true, it's gonna go ahead and run a code, whatever the code we are writing right here. So it's gonna run whatever the code in right here, and yeah, if the test is true. So while loop does the same thing. While loop go ahead and check the test. If the test is true, it's gonna run the code, but the additional step while loop does is it's keep on running. Like if the test is true, it's gonna run the code. It's not gonna stop after that. It's gonna go ahead again and see the while loop. Go ahead again and do the while loop, and here it's gonna check the test again. If it's true, it's keep on running. It never stops. So at some point we have to make it false in order to make this one stop. That's how while loop works. But here we are going to do something different. Here we can also use while loop to get some input from the user and calculate something. Now let's see how to do that. First of all, let's start from the basic. So here I'm going to put integer x. I'm assigning a variable x is equal to 1, assigning a number to a variable. Now x is equal to 1, and here we are in the while loop. We are going to do a test, and here you can do any test you want, and I'm going to put like x is less than or equal to 5. So it's going to check this. If x is less than or equal to 5, it's going to execute this code. What is this code? That is cout x and line. Okay, so here you can see it's gonna print out the number, not x, because if you put in double quote mark only, that is something to print on the screen. But this is if x alone is the variable. This is the one coming right here. Now in C++, there's you know that C and C++ are almost common. The one thing that difference in C++ is you can do this increment operators, like double plus is equal to plus 1. So here this double plus mean increment by 1 each time. So let's go ahead and run this code and see what we get. So what we supposed to get is, first it's gonna run the code. First we assign x is equal to 1, and it's gonna check is 1 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. So it's gonna print 1 on the screen. Then it do the increment. 1 plus 1, that is 2. It's gonna do the check again. 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. So it's gonna print 2, and then it's go 3, 4, 5, and when it comes 6, then the while loop become false. So it stop working. So let's go ahead and build and run. And here you can see it printing up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when it becomes 6, it becomes false. So it doesn't print that thing. So that's how while loop works. Now here we are going to see how to get the input from the user. So here we assign x is equal to 1, and then first we are gonna, instead of this one, we are gonna get some input from the user. Cin, and then number. Okay, cn number, and that's it. Okay. So here x is equal to 1, and here we are going to get some number from the user, and to get the number from the user, I'm gonna introduce another variable called integer number. Okay, so integer x is equal to 1, and while loop x is less than or equal to 5, and x plus plus, and here we are getting the number. So let's see what's gonna happen. First, integer is equal to x is equal to 1, right? So and also we introduced the variable called number, and here this while loop is x is less than or equal to 5. So don't confuse the number with this x, because when we are getting the here, what we are going to do is we are get the input from the number input. I mean, we are going to get input from the user that is equal to number, that's not x. So the user is going to enter number 5 times. How do I know he's going to enter 5 times? Because this loop only runs 5 times based on the program we did. Why it runs 5 times? Because x is equal to 1, so it's going to run first time, right? Then x becomes 2, then it's going to run again. But here in this program, like the one we are designing, we are not going to see the x changing because there's no cout statement for the x to print. So it's not going to show the x on the screen, but we are going to be able to input 5 numbers, because this code is going to run 5 times, and that's all we need to know. Now let's go ahead and run this one. Build and run. So here first time the while loop is running, and then here we can put any number we want. I put 76, enter. Now the while loop is working again. 87, and then 65, and 55, and then 78, and after that it should finish. Yeah, it's finishing. So it get input 5 times. It's not doing anything, this x plus plus is only for the x. It's not incrementing the number or doing anything with it. So this while loop is true 5 times because it do the increment of this x by 1 each time, and that can happen only 5 times. So if I do this, like if I equate this one to 10, it's gonna get 10 input number. Like we can input 10 numbers like that. So what we can do with users input, we can do calculation or anything we want with that. Now let's do a calculation. So here we are getting the number input from the user. Now to do the calculation, what we can do is I'm gonna introduce another integer called total, and then I'm gonna equate that one to 0, and then here after this input I'm gonna do a calculation. So total is equal to total plus number. Okay, so let's look at what's going to happen. So first of all, total is equal to 0, right? Then we know that this code runs 5 times based on the based on the way we designed, because if x is equal to less than 5 and initially starting with 1, and we do increment each time, and it's going to run 5 times, and when it becomes 6 it stops. But we are not going to print that change. We are not going to print that change on the screen, because if you want to see that, you have to put a cout statement and print x to see the changes, but we are not interested in that, so we are not going to print it. We want to get the input 5 times. So to get the input of 5 numbers, we have to run this while loop 5 times. That's why we designed this way. Now the next thing is total. Total is a new variable we introduced. Total is a new variable that we introduce, and here total plus number. So first what's going to happen, total is initially 0, and then when we enter a first number, what's going to happen is it's going to add that number with 0, then it's going to run again. Right now the total is whatever the number we input. Like let's say you put 5, so 0 plus 5, that becomes a new total. So again it goes to the while loop. It doesn't go again here. This one won't be going, because while loop just operate within this again and again and again until this statement become false, until this comparison operator become false, right? So let's say you put 10 again. Now the new total is 5, because based on the input you put before. So 5 plus 10, that's going to become 15, and like that it's going to happen 5 times. And then finally we want to print out the total value. To do that, I put a cout statement right here, cout, and then here I'm going to put your total is and here we can put the variable total variable right here, and it's going to show the number, and then we put the end line. Okay, so once you have done that, everything is good. We can go ahead and run this one. So here I'm running this code. Like, let's put some numbers. Let's look at a number that easy to calculate, so you can see we are not making mistake. So I'm gonna just put 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 5 15. Right, you can see your total is 15. It's running perfectly. Like that, let's try some complex numbers like 456, 674, 783, 543, 652. Okay, now you can see that your total is 3,108. If you try this one with calculator, this one you're gonna get, right? That's how you can build a simple program using while loop. And I hope you guys find this video helpful. Thanks for watching. See you guys